Picture this. It's January 1996. France is burying its president. Thousands line the streets. The cameras roll. The whole world is watching. The widow stands at the graveside, dignified, composed, draped in black. She has held herself together through the eulogies, through the procession, through every agonizing public moment. And then she looks up, and standing across the coffin, staring directly back at her, is her husband's mistress, dressed in mourning, present, invited, and standing right next to her, a teenage girl. A girl she has never seen before in her life, the daughter her husband secretly fathered. The daughter he hid from the entire world, from France, from the press, from his own wife for 19 years. A daughter who spent her childhood crouching on the floor of government cars, so no camera could ever catch her face. A daughter the French state itself was paid to make invisible. A daughter who was not allowed to call him Papa. Not in public, not ever. This was not a soap opera. This was not a tabloid fantasy. This happened at a presidential funeral in front of every camera in France. That is not even the most shocking part of this story. The more is yet to come. Let's dive into Empire Elegance. This story has everything: a president, a wife, a mistress, a secret daughter hidden inside the most guarded building in France, a funeral that turned into a live public ambush, and a final betrayal so calculated, so cold, it will make your jaw hit the floor. This is the story of François Mitterrand, the most powerful man in France, and the double life he ran for 20 years without missing a single beat. 1981. François Mitterrand wins the French presidency. Sophisticated, powerful, untouchable. The kind of man who quotes Voltaire at press conferences and commissions the Louvre Pyramid just because he can. France is captivated. At his side, his wife, Danielle. Loyal, respected. 2 sons. The picture-perfect first family, because what nobody in France knew, what nobody in the entire world knew, is that Mitterrand had been living a secret double life since 1962. 19 years before he even became president. For nearly 2 decades, while he was building his political career, shaking hands, kissing babies, and campaigning on integrity, he was also deeply, seriously, completely involved with another woman. Her name was Anne Pinjot, a museum curator, elegant, intellectual, completely devoted to him. And in 1974, 7 years before he took the highest office in France, Anne gave birth to his child, a daughter, named Mazarine. Now here is where you need to pause and ask yourself, what does a man do when he has a secret baby and is about to run for president of the Republic? If you are François Mitterrand, you don't panic. You don't come clean. You call in the entire apparatus of the French state, and you make the problem disappear. Here is the part that will make your eyes go wide. Most men in this situation would quietly set their mistress up in an apartment across town. Keep it distant, keep it clean, send a check, move on, not Mitterrand. When he became president in 1981, he moved Anne Pinjot and their daughter Mazarine into a government-provided apartment in Paris, under state protection. The President of France used official government resources, French taxpayer money, to house, protect, and shield a secret family that the French public had no idea existed. Mazarine had bodyguards, state-assigned bodyguards, since childhood, for a child who officially did not exist, and the rules inside that secret world were brutal. Mazarine was not allowed to call him Papa in public, not allowed to wave at him, not allowed to acknowledge him in any way that might raise a single eyebrow. And when she was driven anywhere in a government car, she had to crouch below the window line. A child, pressed against the floor of a limousine so that nobody outside could see her face. This is not a weekend affair. This man built a parallel universe, a second home, a second family, a second life, and ran it simultaneously with the presidency of one of the most powerful nations on earth. For 14 years, And here is the question you should be asking right now. How on earth did nobody find out? Because that answer is almost as jaw-dropping as the secret itself. The political press operated under a gentleman's agreement. The private lives of powerful men were simply not discussed. Journalists knew, politicians knew, Mitterrand's own staff knew, and everyone kept their mouths shut. Until 1994. Paris Match publishes a photograph. Mitterrand, Anne Pinjot, and Mazarin, now 19 years old, sitting at a restaurant together, like a normal family, out in the open. 20 years of airtight secrecy, gone. In one photograph. Mitterrand's response? Calm, almost contemptuous. He confirmed it at a press conference. Yes, this is my daughter. Yes, I have a second family. Yes, I ran all of this while serving as your president. No apology, no breakdown, no resignation. Just Mitterrand staring into the cameras, daring France to do something about it. And here's the part that still baffles people. Most of France just accepted it. A collective shrug from an entire nation, but there was one woman who was not shrugging. Danielle, the wife. The woman who had stood beside him through every campaign, every election, every state dinner for decades. And what she was about to be asked to endure at that funeral, nobody could have prepared her for it. Mitterrand had two official sons, Jean-Christophe and Gilbert. Named, acknowledged, the legitimate heirs by every legal and social definition. He left his estate to Mazarin, the secret daughter, the one who hid on the floor of the car, the one who couldn't say, Papa. She was named executor of his estate, above his official sons, above the family France actually knew about. His explanation to close friends? That Mazarin was intellectually the closest of his children to him. 20 years of hiding her, and at the very end, he chose her. But history was not done delivering its verdict on this family. Jean-Christophe Mitterrand, the official son, the legitimate heir, the one France knew, was later arrested and convicted of illegal arms trafficking. He used his father's name to broker weapons deals in Africa. He went to prison. Mazarin, the hidden daughter, the state secret, the girl who spent her childhood invisible, became a celebrated author, a literary critic, and a public intellectual with a PhD in philosophy. The son who had everything ended up in handcuffs. The daughter who wasn't allowed to exist ended up with everything. So let's recap what just happened here. A sitting French president maintained a secret second family inside a government palace for 14 years. He used taxpayer money to fund it. He made his own daughter hide on the floor of state cars. He kept it all secret for 20 years. He arranged for his mistress and secret daughter to stand at his coffin, right next to his wife, in front of the entire world. Then left his estate to the child nobody was supposed to know about, whose official brother later went to prison for arms dealing. This is not fiction. This happened in living memory, with cameras rolling. And the most jaw-dropping detail of all, he never once looked sorry. That is the Mitterrand story. This was 1996. Paparazzi everywhere. Investigative journalists hungry for a story. A free press and a political opposition that would have paid anything for this. And he still ran a secret second family inside the presidential palace for 20 years without a single leak. Because the entire French establishment agreed, silently, to look the other way. His doctors lied. His staff lied. The press stayed quiet. And an entire nation was kept in the dark while their president lived two completely separate lives under one roof. That is the scandal underneath the scandal. So which moment in this story broke your brain the most? Was it the palace, the car floor, the funeral ambush, the will? Drop it in the comments right now. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like and subscribe to Empire Elegance and hit the notification bell for more powerful stories about the lives and legacies of the world's most influential families. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.